Hello, my name is Keith Haswell and I'm a professional astrologer with 40 years experience in the business, over 30,000 clients worldwide, and I've done 140 YouTube videos and getting good response from them on all aspects of personal and spiritual growth. I've written 2 books. One is called What Really Matters, on the basics of astrology, meditation and reincarnation, and I've turned that into 12 CDs which are available to you free of charge when you submit your birth details through the Your Horoscope page of my website. The website will appear later on in the video, so no need to worry about that. And I've written a second book which is called Coming Home: An Eternal Journey, on the deeper aspects of astrology and meditation, reincarnation and cosmic science, the holographic nature of reality, quantum physics and things like that. So it's nice to have this opportunity to be able to talk with you. I have to put that introduction in there in case this is the first video that you're watching, and I'm very happy with the feedback that I'm getting from everybody on my from my website, and it's nice to have this opportunity to talk with you on this particular video. And I've named this video Greater Love and Intimacy. It was supposed to be Greater Love and Intimacy with Your Higher Self, but that's just too long a title, so I decided to just shorten it a little bit. But it's about greater love and intimacy with your higher self. So welcome to this. You've brought yourself here to this particular video. You'll notice that my videos don't have a huge response and a huge number of viewings. You can put up a video on the internet, on YouTube, with a baby dancing in a nappy, and it'll draw 12 million viewings, but you put something up that's for the advanced people like yourself, and you get a limited number of viewings, because you are on the crest of the wave of evolution. You are a pioneer, you are a map maker, and you are to be congratulated for the very fact that you are watching this video. Now, what I'm going to talk with you on this is about love. What a wonderful topic to be talking about. Your higher self. It is not a part of you, you are a part of it. We are not human beings having a spiritual experience here on the physical plane. We are spiritual beings experiencing a human experience. Now, I've defined love in some of my earlier videos, but just for the purposes of this, I'll define love again. Love is 7 actions, each to produce 7 states of being. The first action is to give. The second action is to respond, to be responsible. The third action is to respect. The fourth action is to know. The fifth action is to have humility, to be able to say, just because it's been that way in the past, it doesn't mean that it always has to go that way again. That's humility. The fifth action is courage, to have courage. Courage is the willingness to act, even though you don't have all the answers, and even though some of the answers that you do have are wrong. Courage is the willingness to be wrong in the pursuit of what's right. Courage is the refusal to live a life that does not express your truth. And the 7th action is caring. Now, each of these 7 actions are designed in love to produce 7 states of being. Those 7 states of being are security, pleasure, vulnerability, trust, a reduced fear of loss, intimacy and caring, and a state of knowing. So, if you want to define love, love is to give, to produce security, pleasure, vulnerability, trust, a reduced fear of loss, intimacy and caring, and a state of knowing and of being known. It's to be responsible, to respond, to be responsible in order to produce security, pleasure, vulnerability, trust, a reduced fear of loss, intimacy and caring, and a state of being known. And so forth with the other 5 actions. So each of those actions produce 7 states of being. That is love defined. Intimacy, on the other hand, are the same 7 actions, but they produce 7 different states of being. They are closeness, tenderness, honesty and vulnerability, trust, loving, a reduced fear of humiliation, and understanding. So each of those 7 actions are each designed to produce those 7 states of being to create intimacy. That's what intimacy is. Loving and intimacy and intimate relationships are the antidote to your negative ego. Your negative ego, all of us have a negative ego, so I'm not attacking you. Everybody has a negative ego. Everybody has aspects of their nature that they're not happy with. They represent our masks of martyrhood, self-pity, problems with your self-image, lack of self-esteem, lack of self-love, shame, fear, guilt, domination, manipulation and control. Loving and intimate relationships are a way to balance the imbalances that the negative ego creates within ourselves. All of us have these faults and weaknesses there within ourselves to certain degrees. So none of us are perfect, otherwise we wouldn't be here. It's all right to not be perfect. It's all right to be human. To really experience greater love and intimacy with your higher self, you need to start working on these blockages. You see, we all have energy going through us. The energy comes into our system through a centre between the shoulder blades. We've got 7 major centres in our body. This centre is not one of the major ones, but the centres, you know about them, no doubt. The centre at the base of the spine for physical action, sacral centre for sexual expression, solar plexus centre for emotional expression, heart centre for expression of love, throat centre for our thinking processes, the centre between the eyes for directed will, and the centre at the top of the head for spiritual direction in our life. But we've got this extra centre there in between the shoulder blades that is the receiving energies come into our system, etheric energies from the sun, from the earth, and from the planets. And these energies go down to the centre at the base of the spine. And if you've got a lot of negativity there and suppressed anger and things like that, and sexual urges and so forth that are out of control and selfish, and you've got emotions there in the form of fear and anxiety and doubt and insecurity and so forth, there around the emotional centre in the solar plexus centre, well, what's going to be activated? All of these thought forms that are living there in your aura are going to be activated by this energy that's going through your body. And so if you start to aspire towards your higher self and you start bringing in extra energies into your system, which automatically happens when you start aspiring spiritually and when you start bringing changes within yourself, you start bringing extra energy into your system. And that extra energy is just like fertilizer on the garden. It'll bring forth a whole abundance of weeds if the weeds are in there. And that's exactly what happens with our negative emotions. So you can start off aspiring towards the spiritual side of life, but the extra energy that you have coming into your system activates all of those negativities. So you have to be able to work on those blockages and transform your nature over a period of time in order to be able to develop this greater intimacy and love with your higher self. Don't try to do it overnight. We have very subtle blockages inside of ourselves too, such as self-centeredness, feeling better than, self-importance. Love needs to breathe, and intimacy are its lungs. Now all of us look through life through a prism. We all have, that's P-R-I-S-M. All of us have these experiences in our childhood that we were told as we were sexually abused, for example, that the offender is doing this because they love you, or they're giving you a beating because they love you, or they're fighting and arguing amongst each other in front of you when you are 5, 6 and 7. And so they say to you that we argue and fight because we love each other. And so you have these distorted images of what love is. And that becomes a prism whereby you observe your reality in your adulthood. And all of us look through these prisms, and it distorts our image of ourselves. It distorts our image of what love and intimacy is and what it means. So you have a prism as to what intimacy means. Now you don't have to know all of its contents. You don't have to know every detail. You don't even have to go back to the drawing board. You don't have to begin again at square one. You've been there and you've done the work, but you need to move through that prism in order to find that greater love and intimacy and bring it in to your life. Bring it in to your reality. So that is the first cornerstone of this foundation in order to develop greater intimacy and love with your higher self. There's 4 cornerstones that I'm going to discuss here with you. Now look, a lot of the things that I talk about here perhaps will not make sense to you. A lot of the things that I talk might be a little bit subtle, might be a little bit esoteric, might be a little bit deep. But don't worry about that. If you can't watch the whole of the video, watch it in pieces. Watch it in pieces, and over a period of time, what I say to you will make sense. Now, I think you understand what resonance is. Resonance is a wave of energy. Every single thing in our reality and every single person and being in our reality has a resonance or a wave of energy that radiates out from them. You can feel when someone's resonance is low. If they're full of aggression and anger and shame and fear and low self-esteem and so forth, you can feel their resonance. So resonance is an energy. So the second cornerstone is that you need to step into the resonance of your future and your future self. You have a future self. It's an aspect of your soul. It's an aspect of your higher self. It's an aspect of your being. And it contains all of your futures there. And the second cornerstone of this work schedule that we're going to be working on here together in order to develop greater intimacy and love with your higher self is to step into the resonance of your future and your future self. Once again, your future self is not an aspect of you as a personality. You are an aspect of it. You have many futures there, and it's a matter of bringing out the best ones into the future. You need to step into the resonance of your future self who has unlocked this greater love and this greater intimacy and continues to unlock that greater love and that greater intimacy. Now immediately you start thinking to yourself, is that future self of me who has unlocked all of this greater intimacy and greater love and cleared out those blockages, is that me in 6 months, or is it 12 months, or is it 5 years? That doesn't matter, because for the purposes of this exercise we're going to go into meditation, and in that state of meditation you are going to go outside of time and space, because you are going to go into the higher mental world where your future self exists, and where your higher self exists, and where your soul exists. Meditation is the key. It is your saviour. So it's more precise to say that you're not going to be meeting that higher self or that future self, but you are going to be in the resonance in meditation with that future self. And that's the only thing that's important, not about when you have become what that future self is expressing in that resonance. Your future self is the motivator and the generator of all change within yourself, not the past. Your future is the motivator of all healing within yourself. When you have a powerful relationship with your future self, that's when you have a powerful motivation to change, to reach and stretch and to become more of who you really are. That's why there are people who are in their 70s and 80s who are so vibrant and alive, learning new things, doing new things, and so vibrant and alive in so many ways. They seem so healthy and alive. Many factors are involved here, but in every case they have a clearer vision of their future. They are motivated by their future. So your future is a motivator. It's not the be-all and end-all, but it is the motivator of change. It is the motivator of growth, and it is the motivator of healing. So in order to have a greater intimacy and a greater love with your future self and with your higher self, you must move beyond your prisms, and you must step into the resonance of your future. Your future and your future self. A connection, a relationship, a partnership. To step into and build that resonance is the second cornerstone of developing greater love and intimacy with your higher self. Now let's look at the third cornerstone. The third cornerstone is not only to step into the resonance of that future, but to create a state of ecstasy. Ecstatic. Static equals the set that we find ourselves in. The place, in other words, that you are currently in, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Ecstatic means outside of the set, beyond the set, beyond the state that you are currently in. Ecstasy is the state of being ecstatic. It is a self-transcendent state, and it can be generated. Now, we're not talking about ecstasy, the drugs here at all. That comes without saying. We're talking about a natural state within your consciousness in a state of meditation that you can engender there within yourself a state of ecstasy. So it's a self-transcendent state when you can create that state of ecstasy, not the drug, but the genuine state of mind. When you are in that genuine state of ecstasy and meditation, you put yourself into a position where you can be lifted out of the set that you experience now, or you can lift yourself out. It is a cornerstone of unlocking greater love and intimacy with your higher self. It's not that the love that you experience now with your higher self is not good enough. Not at all. That state of love that you now have with your higher self could see you through for the balance of this lifetime and beyond. But it's not in your nature to settle. To build a foundation for a greater love and intimacy with your higher self, you first of all must work your way through that prism and into the resonance of your future self. In that resonance with your future and your future self, you create a state of ecstasy in meditation. Someone who is in a true state of ecstasy, they are filled with joy and at the same time fully at peace. They are filled with hope and expectation, and in that moment they fully accept themselves with all their faults and their mistakes. In that state of ecstasy, they are filled with wonder and awe, and they are fully free, free to soar, free to fly, metaphorically speaking. And in that ecstatic state, they are fully loved and filled with love. There is a peak experience about it. Euphoria, timelessness, spacelessness, a sense of oneness, an ineffability, a sense of transcendence, and the sacred. There is a peak experience about it, and everything seems radiant, and God, Goddess, all that is, are everywhere and in everything. That's what happens when people are ecstatic, in a state of ecstasy. Now you say to yourself, well, I can't get into this state of ecstasy. There's an old saying that the steps to getting there are the same as the qualities of being there. The use of the imagination in meditation is very, very powerful. The steps to getting there are the same as the qualities of being there. The qualities of being there, in other words, are the same as the steps to get there. So you use your imagination in meditation, and you can go deeper and deeper and deeper as you practice more and more with the science of meditation to be able to create this state of ecstasy. Remember, you don't have to be perfect. You can have a lot of weaknesses within yourself, but we're talking about in the moment, fully accepting yourself, fully at peace, outside of the set that you normally experience. That is ecstatic. Therefore, the steps to attaining ecstasy is very consciously to be filled with joy, fully at peace, filled with hope and expectation, fully accepting yourself. But I can't accept myself in the moment. If you don't want to fully accept yourself tomorrow, that's fine. But in the moment, in this meditation, you fully accept yourself. With all your faults and weaknesses, we're talking about creating a state of ecstasy. But I won't feel this way in the morning, you say. Right now, you don't have to be perfect to accept yourself with all of your foibles, all of your faults, all of your weaknesses, all of your blockages. It's okay to be human. And know that your future self and your higher self and God, Goddess, all that is, love you unconditionally. They love you for no reason at all. They know who you are. They know your blockages, they know your weaknesses, they know your faults, and it's okay because they love you unconditionally. They love you for no reason at all, just because you are. So fully accepting yourself, filled with joy, filled with awe and wonder at the fact that you are loved, that God and Goddess love you and know your name, that they have given you the gift of eternal life, you can never ever die, and that you are fully free in the moment to soar, carefree, to fly, filled with love, fully loving. Sense that peak experience, sense the radiance. Imagine and feel the presence of God, Goddess, all that is, everywhere and in everything. Pump it up, generate it yourself. Your brain changing electromagnetically, neuronal functioning happening, neurons, dendrites and axons going crazy, synapses popping and popping. Ecstasy, that is the third cornerstone. The fourth cornerstone, to cloak yourself in the energies and forces of exquisite moments of discovery or exquisite moments of knowing, in the mystical union, in the abundance and prosperity of love, in the mysteries of life and the wonder of creation. These components of exquisite moments are critical, not only in the love that you have with your higher self, but in love in your life, in all relationships that you have. For example, there is someone that you love. You can experience that love more deeply, more richly, more fully in a number of ways, but a particular way that you can do that is to remember exquisite moments in that relationship with that person. That special evening out in a beautiful restaurant. That time when you were sitting together and watched the sunset. They are the exquisite moments when you knew that you were in love. When you gazed into each other's eyes and you experienced that exquisite moment. An exquisite moment that may mean nothing to someone else. But to both of you, you are filled with joy, a sense of timelessness, and filled with love. That was an exquisite moment. The oneness that you felt with each other. These exquisite moments are one of the cornerstones of greater love and intimacy with your higher self. Well, it's nice to have this opportunity to be able to share this time with you and to share this love with you and to help you to become more of the giant that you truly are. I thank you for your attentiveness here. Do subscribe to my videos because I'm putting them out all the time. I'll do another 50 or so in the next 12 months. So it's important to get your hands on them. And also, if you haven't had your horoscope done by me yet, go to my website, www.mysteryofsirius.com. It's popped up on the screen already for you. And so you go to my website, go to the Your Horoscope page of my website and submit your birth details there, and we'll send you your horoscope chart, which tells you where that important rising sign is, where your ascendant is, in other words, and that determines your soul path for this particular lifetime. And I send you 12 CDs out of my first book, What Really Matters on Astrology, Meditation and Reincarnation. And the testimonials that I get from people who've gone through my intensives is incredible. There's another 24 CDs of intensives 2 and 3. And also, horoscope number 2 is a beautiful 20-page document that looks at all of your planets, the Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, all of them have different functions in your life. And the location of them by sign and by house placement and by aspect or relationship that they form with the other planets in your horoscope when you took your first breath are vitally important things that tell you how you're going on this path of life. You've lived heaps of lives before. How have you been going in those past lives? What tests have you set for yourself in this particular lifetime? I'm here to help you to become more of the giant that you truly are. So I thank you for your attentiveness once again, and I look forward to working further with you should you decide to come with me on this journey coming home. Thank you.